High Velocity Wrestling is a professional wrestling promotion based in Western North Carolina. HVW's events provide a family atmosphere featuring old school pro wrestling with a modern day flair, giving a little something for everyone. What's going on, folks? Tom Clark here, Social Media Director for High Velocity Wrestling. We are going live tonight with little to no announcement ahead of time because I just had an itch, and when I get an itch, I got to scratch it. So we're going live here tonight, and we are also joined tonight by the owner and promoter of one said HVW, Mr. Gary Benfield. Let's get him in here. There he is. Gary, what's going on, my friend? How you doing tonight?
What's up, Tom? How are you, my friend? It's been a while.
I know, man. It's been a hot minute. Usually we just go with audio when we do the show, but I thought, well, we've got the new technology here on my end, so we'll try something a little bit different. This is how I've been recording the main event for a few weeks. It's been coming off really nice. So, yeah, I thought I'd just try something a little bit different for us here. So,
hey, let's do it.
Yeah, man. So we've got some people watching right now. We're going to go ahead and throw up some banners here because, again, we got to – oh, he's got a job title, folks. There it is. It's cute, right? Huh? That's legit, baby. So, yeah, we won't leave it up the whole time. Let's see. We've got brand. Where's the brand? We got to get the brand up here. It's important. And there it is. We're going to try not to block your head the whole time.
Go ahead, because it'll hide my bald.
It was done by design. I'm just kidding.
Can you angle the bottom of it so it'll just kind of set over my hairline?
Like a hat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a hat. There you go. So we've got a couple folks coming in already. For those of you who know me from Tom Clark's main event, hey, what's up? This is not the main event. That'll be happening tomorrow live on Wrestling Rumors Facebook page at 12 o'clock, high noon as always. But this is High Velocity Wrestling. This is pro wrestling company based out of West North Carolina. We've ran two events since our relaunch in late 2019. First event was January, second was February, third one was going to be March, and then April, then May, and then June and July. And guess what? COVID happens, and now we're all in a massive holding pattern, unfortunately. So we are making do with the best we can, and we're providing as much content as possible. We've been busy trying to do podcasts and get some promos, and man, we've reposted the shows 1,000 times in the past 4 or 5 months, but it's all an effort to get the content flowing. So I know we've not been able to do any live events, man, but I know you've been keeping track of the social media. At least I hope I feel like the social media accounts feel like they're alive. You know what I mean? It feels like they're living and breathing, which is a good thing.
Hey, brother, you've done a phenomenal job keeping our social media stuff up to date, keeping stuff fresh, and people, we only got 2 shows worth of footage, so we can only do so much. But, dude, I really dig the Monday retro thing that we've been doing, bringing some of the old stuff back. So that's kind of cool, too.
It's pretty cool because the couple matches, and I think we're 6 or 7 weeks into it now, I believe, maybe 8 weeks. I haven't counted. But it's funny because some of the matches that we start preparing to post, I actually forgot I did commentary on them.
Yeah.
It's right. So I'll see the matches and I'm like, oh, this looks like it might be fun. Then I'll click play and I'm like, dude, that's me. Like I had totally forgot about commentating that match. So
I think it was it this past week?
Yes.
Like you and Steele was doing commentary this past week.
Yeah. It's been a couple of different times that's popped up. We do have some folks watching. Nate Dogg is in the house.
Nate, what up?
What's up, Nate? HVW should set aside some budget to get Gary a captain's hat like Gilligan's, just that has MFIC embroidered on it. There you go. Hey,
ball joke, Nate.
That's a good one, man. Nate, if you could be the money man for that, dude, if you want to make that happen, he'll wear it.
Yeah.
So we've got some comments.
This laptop camera makes my bald spot looks like it's off to one side.
I'm just used to seeing you wear the bandana across the forehead.
Yeah.
So yeah. Riker, let's see. Hold on. I don't want to delete your comment there, my man. Where'd we go? Daggone it. The mouse has gone haywire. Here we are. So ready for HVW to open back up. Well, so am I, my friend. No doubt
Tom,
about it.
I had this gentleman and this young lady booked for our first Legion Hall show.
I remember that. Yeah.
We didn't get to do it, man. But hey, thank you guys for watching, and you keep in touch because we want to get you in for sure.
Absolutely. And any content you want to send, dude, I am more than happy to promote you on the Facebook page and on for High Velocity Wrestling, and let's talk about the company moving forward. And that's what we're here to do tonight. Yeah, any content I can get that I get my hands on, I will put on our page. I assure you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We need all we can get right now. So Big Jeff is here. The retro is bringing back memories for sure.
Yes, sir, Big Jeff.
There you go. Shannon, who's a loyal fan of the main event, is hanging out with us tonight. Shannon, thanks for hanging out. Got a follow up to that one. Again, if I click the right thing, here we go. There it is. Thank you all, and no problem. Great content. Awesome. Glad to hear it. One more from Nate here. My camera makes my bald spot look 10 times larger. There you go. So
yeah, I'm not even going to comment on that one, Nate, dog.
I'm happy to have what I have, man. I'm a little bit thin, but it's nothing tragic yet. So I'm going to take what I have and shut up about it. So probably the best thing to do.
It really don't look big when it magnifies it, Nathan.
I thought you were going to rip on him and say it looks big because it looks big, because it is big. You know what I mean? I didn't say that. So, yeah, so it's a different kind of podcast episode this time. We don't really have an event to hype up. We don't really have a situation to talk about. Like I said before, we just want to kind of hang out a little bit here and talk about a few things. Listen, I wanted to touch base with you on the HVW Monday Retro stuff. When you're going back and watching these shows, man, and watching some of these old matches, what's it bringing back for you? Is it putting you back mentally in those days? What's it bringing back for you in terms of how you felt about the first run of the company, and what's it doing for you in terms of nostalgia?
You know, Tom, it's I sit and watch those shows from the old building, and dude, it really makes me miss having an arena, to where we can do what we want to do, and we don't have to get permission from a building owner or, I just really, really enjoy having our own spot, man, and watching the retro and, seeing the nice entrance and hearing the fans scream and the lighting in the building. And it was just, dude, we had a cool thing, Tom. We had a cool little building over there, man. Yeah,
for sure.
I miss that a lot. But dude, I miss a lot of the camaraderie with the guys back then, man. I really hope a lot of those guys cross our path again.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think I'd been there to work for you maybe half dozen times, if maybe not even that many, to be honest with you. Maybe only 3 or 4 or something like that. But I always just remember homey is the best word for it. Not to mean that it was very small, but it just didn't feel like it was too big. It didn't feel like it was – so big that you're like, God, there's so much to deal with. There's so much cleanup. It never felt like that to me. It just felt like the fans were closer together. It was closer to the ring. You had more of a connection. It reminded me of the old ECW arena in that regard. Like everybody was more compacted.
Yeah. And it's, the build, it was kind of small. The fire marshal only allowed us 225. But, dude, we broke that many times.
Right.
We went over that 225 many, many times.
I remember having to roll up the doors to put seats outside, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir. We did that for the Matt Hardy show, remember?
Yeah, I remember that.
We had as many people sitting out in the parking lot as we did in the building.
Yeah. That was a cool deal. Getting to interview him and you've met a lot more guys in person in the business than I have, for sure. I've met a lot over the phone doing interviews and stuff like that, but Big Show's a very personable guy, very down to earth. Orton is too, to a lot of extent. But man, Matt Hardy in person is it. If you didn't know he was a wrestler, you would never know he's a wrestler because he's just a regular guy.
Well, dude, I tell you, I know him and Jeff both have went through some things since that night.
Oh yeah.
But up until that point, man, I mean, he was class act, dude. He was like
Yep.
one of the boys in the locker room. I mean, it was
Yep.
it's like he was a regular there every week.
He was. Yeah.
It was really cool, man.
And I remember after the main event, you got in the ring and announced to the fans that we're going to give Matt a few minutes to get in the back and clean up, and he'll be back out for pictures. And Matt stood there and said, no, let's do it right now. And I'm like, this dude's covered in sweat, right? And tired from the match, obviously, and took a little bit of a beating that night. And he's like, no, let's do it right now. And I thought, this guy's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
So,
well, dude, remember before the show, the VIP passes that he stood in the ring for an hour and took pictures with people that bought the VIP pass.
Yeah, he did. And what really struck me about that was I watched him from a distance, and every single person he talked to, he shook their hands and he got their eye. If they weren't looking at him, he would move his head to look in their eye and say, hey, I'm Matt. What's your name? And he did it to every single fan that was there. And I thought, that's either been taught to him through the years or it's something he does on his own. But man, that's something that we're used to doing in the locker room. When you shake a guy's hand, you look him in the eye and tell him who you are, But I don't think fans are used to that, especially not somebody they consider to be a celebrity. So when he did that, you could tell some of those kids were a little nervous. You know what I memean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But that was pretty cool.
He was a hero to those kids, man.
Yes, he was. Yeah, for sure. And, you mentioned that he and Jeff both have had issues. Jeff recently still having issues. Matt, as far as we know, has been on the straight and narrow for a good while now, and good for him. So glad to see him turn his life around. Got 3 kids now, and he and his wife are doing great from everything I understand. So that's awesome. Doing great in AEW. Just had a match on Dynamite. Man, he has not lost a step, dude.
Dude, I guess because he is so bow-legged.
He is.
He looks weird when he gets up off the mat.
Yeah.
But other than that, you're right. He hadn't missed a step.
And
how about my boys FTR on there last night?
Oh man, they killed it. They Go ahead, talk about it.
Oh, that was awesome, dude. I got so excited to see that truck roll up, and I started hollering, Steven, and people's going, who's Steven? They don't even know who Steven is, but
right.
We know him as that. Which,
for sure.
It's awesome, dude. I'm so proud of those guys.
And they look great. And they couldn't have asked for better opponents with SCU. Those guys brought it. And
oh man, they had a great match.
Yeah, they did. And an eight-man tag with SCU and the Young Bucks now against FTR and the Lucha Bros. Dude, that's going to be God.
FTR and the Young Bucks.
Did I get it backwards?
Yeah, it's
that's right. It's Butcher and Blade, and that's right. My bad. I got it mixed up.
It's Butcher and Blade and the Lucha Brothers against FTR and the Young Bucks.
That's right. The Butcher and Blade gimmick grew on me because at first I wasn't into it, but it started growing on me, and now they're coming out in all white, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm partial to black anyway, but I thought they looked great in all black, especially with the bunny. Allie, who they're acting like Allie was never the bunny. I guess she's no longer with them, which is weird. I thought the 3 of them together, it was different at first, but man, she had great attitude when she came out with them. And I'm like, these guys look great together, man.
Dude, I don't remember those guys. I don't know where they come from.
I can't remember what indie company they worked in before AEW picked them up, but they've been around for a while. And
they've always been Butcher and the Blade.
I believe so, yeah, because AEW you don't change anything. The only time they'll have you change anything in that company is if it conflicts with a previous company. So, Proud and Powerful could not be LAX anymore. They had to change it. They didn't have a choice. So,
Gotcha.
It's stuff like that. So if they were previously connected, they couldn't. But if you're Kenny Omega on the indie circuit, you're Kenny Omega in that company too. So, let's see. Got a few more comments happening. We were talking about the building that you run in and how you had to have certain permission to do things. Nathan says insurance restrictions kill all the fun. No doubt about it. So then he followed up with broke allegedly. Yeah. What happened to this? Well, allegedly it was broken. Yeah. That reminds me, when we were in, and we never have done a podcast on this. We've been threatening to do it for a year. But when we were in UWA in that Legion Hall in the North, the characters running that place were the hardest people to get along with. Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There was one old lady that ran the concession stand, and we never got a cut of that money. She got every penny of it. And she was hard to get along with. She was always in a bad mood, it seemed like. And we were expected to clean that freaking Legion Hall from top to bottom. And we had no hot water to mop the floors with and no soap. So we're mopping the floor with cold dirt water. And I'm like, are we seriously going to do this? And Roger's like, we don't have a choice. We got to mop the floor. And I'm like, okay. So we're running it in the freaking bathroom sink, for crying out loud, to get the floor clean. It's ridiculous.
That's insane, dude.
I don't know.
We do need to do a podcast on that, dude, because that's a show in itself. We could talk about that for hours.
Oh, yeah.
Time.
Oh, yeah. Just so many great memories, man. Like the first time I went there to see you guys, I was like a lot of other fans when it comes to indie wrestling, because at the time indie wrestling had not exploded. You know what I mean? Ring of Honor was there, but it wasn't on my radar, if I'm being honest with you. ECW by that time was gone. Yeah, because this was around 2000, so it was already on the way out, if not already dead. So, the indie circuit, I guess, wasn't really a thing yet. Territories were folding, it almost all gone at that time. So I, like a lot of fans, looked at like the local, what I called local wrestling, like it's local wrestling. What do I do? I don't want to go. But then I went and I was like, okay, this is the coolest thing ever. Not just because it was wrestling, but because, man, you could just see the heart coming out of these matches. A lot of these guys, man, they putting their heart and soul into it.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
And I remember, we had Thomas Extreme, the Rebel Bandit, TJ Striker. Those guys, the first time.
And they were kids.
And they were kids. 17. 16, 17, 18. It was crazy.
Yeah. I think Thomas Extreme was like 16 or 17.
Yeah, I think you're right. That was insane. And the stuff they were doing in the ring, like Thomas would, it was crazy. Thomas would come up and, you know how he would come up and tap you on the shoulder to get your attention? Just very easily tap you on the shoulder. So he'd come up, do that, and I say, what's up? And he'd go, I think I might do the 450 tonight. I said, yes, because he knew I would pop for that, right? So he would go out and do the 450. But yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Let's go ahead.
Hey, dude, this just kind of hit me. We was talking about the retro.
Yeah.
Was it this week that was Rob Killjoy against Serial Killer?
Yes.
Serial Killer is not doing real well, man. He's
I didn't know that.
He's an HVW original. He has lost a foot due to diabetes.
Ooh.
And now he's his health is not good. I mean, it's Killer's in bad shape, man. So all the old HVW fans that are out there that know how to reach out to him, just kind of reach out, man. Send a positive vibe his way.
Yeah, listen, I don't know if he's on Facebook or if he's on any kind of social media at all.
Not anymore.
Is he not? Okay. I was going to say if you happen to have links, just put them up on HVW page. That way fans can maybe send them some well wishes. But, yeah, that's a shame, man. I hate to hear that. Just goes to show you, man, how times change, how much time has passed. And it hasn't been that long since that actual match took place. But, man, a lot can happen in just 5 years or just a few more. Anything can happen, man. It's crazy.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, look, what was it? 6-7 years ago when we did our last show in that building.
Yep.
And that night, Drake worked for us. John Schuyler worked for us. Stephen Walters worked for us. And now, look where all those guys, Rob Killjoy, all those guys are at now.
Yeah. John Schuyler's fun to watch, man. I've seen him apart from the HVW stuff, me and Wesley, my kid, we went to see him working PWX 2 or 3 times, and man, he's
phenomenal.
He's so good, and the characters there, and like he reminds me of Jake, not in as much as full blown best heel you've ever seen, but when he comes through that curtain, dude, his eyes, he's just completely dialed in. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't even have to question. It doesn't even look like, well, that guy's taking the night off. No chance. Not with him.
Yeah, it was unfortunate he got that injury at AEW when he went.
I haven't heard much about this. When did that go down?
I want to say it was last week.
I remember seeing social media him being advertised for it, but I didn't follow up on it after that because he was on Dark, wasn't he?
Yeah, him and Brady Pierce.
That's right. That's
Brady
right.
Pierce did a tag match on Dark.
Uh-huh.
And all I know, Skyler got injured, and I know he has surgery tomorrow.
Ooh. Well, John, we don't know if you're watching, brother, if anybody you know is watching, but all the best to you, man. Speedy recovery to you, my friend.
Absolutely, brother.
Love to see you
back to HVW.
Absolutely. Love to see you get back on your feet. Absolutely. So, yeah, all the best to you, man. Let's hit a few of these comments we got going on. Joshua Wall says, what up, Gary?
What up?
Scott Larson, friend of the show, host of the hashtag Truth, says Butcher and Blade came from ESW in New York. Interesting.
Okay. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, man. Nate Dogg says local show. By the way, you're Nate Dogg from now on. Sorry. I came up with it. I didn't totally come up with it. I stole it. I stole it, but now it's yours. You own it, Nate. Own it.
Wasn't that one of Snoop Dogg's partners, Nate Dogg?
Nate Dogg and Warren G.
Yes, sir.
Regulate, baby. It's old school rap, my man. So,
man.
Nate says local shows are way more fun than WWE. Dude.
Agreed.
Yes, and twice on Sunday, all the time. Ringsider says hello and good evening from California.
What's up, guys?
Yeah, man. They're always hanging out online. Yeah.
With you too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Talking about Skyler says, send him our well wishes. We'll keep him in our prayers. Scott with a question. Who, in both of your opinion, is going to be the next superstar that comes out of HVW? Oh, I like that question. So I assume Scott's talking about the next guy to quote unquote make it big, like and go to other big companies.
One that hits me right off the top of my head is Jake Jacobs.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that. He's definitely got the mindset for it.
And the kid puts the work in, man. As long as he's been working, he still travels around and does these seminars with I think he's doing one like I want to say he's driving to Florida or something to do a Tom Pritchard seminar.
Very cool.
So yeah, and then I think he's also doing the 3-day AML seminar in Winston-Salem in December.
Yeah, because Jake was trained by Pritchard and Kane.
Right.
At their school in Tennessee. Is it Tennessee? Or is it?
It's in Knoxville.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I should have made the connection there with Kane being the mayor. Yeah, I think Jacobs is a good pull, good choice. I have to say, and I know Crucifix has some years on him and some experience on him. And someone might look at a guy like Chris and say, well, the time's passing. I disagree. I do. Crucifix could step in onto AEW Dynamite right now and give anybody on that show a good match, I think.
I agree. I truly feel like if he got an opportunity, they would pick him up.
Absolutely.
I truly believe that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And man, if you've seen the quote unquote indie guys showing up on AEW, man, the AEW guys are giving those dudes some stuff. They are. And now there's exception with the ladies match with Hikaru Shida, but that was a little bit different circumstance last night. But yeah, man, who was the kid? Last name Angels. I forget his first name. Alex Angels, I think it is. Worked Kenny Omega, and I'm like, and man, he was taking it to Omega, and I'm like, holy cow, I didn't really expect that. You know what I mean? So that was different.
Yes, sir. And I'll tell you another up and coming star at HVW. And I watched that kid. I watch him 3 days a week at my house, in my ring, in my training school, improving every session. And that's the eye of the tiger, John Matthews. This kid will do something in this business. He gets it. He understands it, and he'll listen. That's what's important. Yes, he's a little arrogant. He's a little cocky. He likes to mouth off a little bit.
Yeah.
But he'll listen, and he takes it. He takes it in and listens, and he picks up on it really quick.
Yeah.
This kid's at my house 3 days a week training, man. I see what he's doing.
And, you've seen a lot more of them than the HVW fans have, to be honest. To be fair, you have.
Right.
So, yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. And I can't wait to see him now versus 4 or 5 months ago to see how far he's progressed. This might be a weird comparison for you, but he reminds me of Southern Blood. Remember Speedy?
Oh, absolutely.
Now, I'm not saying that because, it felt like Speedy had a ceiling in terms of because he didn't have a lot of charisma. He couldn't talk on the mic. But the one thing everyone always said about him was the dude listens. So he was always easy to wrestle and work with because anything you said, boom, he's right there.
Yeah, Matthews is the same way, man. And especially, since – and I know this is going to sound really crazy or arrogant, but since I started working with him, I've kind of brought him down a little bit. I've got that arrogant and that cockiness out of him, and he's humbled himself a little bit.
That's good.
And it's he's really becoming a ring general, working with the other trainees that don't have the time in that he's got in. I don't know. I just really like the kid, man. There's something about him that I feel like he's got a bright future. I really do.
Yeah, I agree with that. And, let's face it, folks, if you are not, if you don't humble yourself, life will do a great job of doing that for you. So as Scott points out, and it's a good point, we like cocky in our favorite wrestlers, not conceited, but cocky. And there's something to be said for that. You have to believe you're the best. You have to believe you can do this better than anybody else. You have to have a swagger. And if you don't have any of those things, you might be in the wrong profession. You have to at least be confident in yourself. And it is borderline conceitment, I believe.
Well, dude, why did that get me so much grief for so many years?
Yeah.
Because Tom, I'm the first one to admit I didn't always look the best.
Right.
But brother, I'm telling you, in my prime, I could step in that ring and go toe-to-toe with anybody in the business, and you know that.
Well, I think where we started, you did have haters. You did. And I'm remembering. But I think, I'm trying to put this in the way it makes sense. I don't want to say jealousy. I don't know if it was jealousy, but I think it was you could say and do things that they couldn't do, whether it was their character or whether it was they weren't willing to say and do those things in the ring. But you approached it like, I'll do it. I don't care. And to me, that, there's a fine line between being too reckless and being too safe. And you danced that line quite a bit. But I didn't think you ever did it because you necessarily wanted attention. You just really wanted to throw yourself into it. And that was apparent from the jump. From the minute I got there and started working with EOD, it was apparent. We had this thing one night where it was someone's birthday, okay? And they had a birthday cake. I don't know if you remember this or not. And we talked about, we were behind the curtain, and it's like something about someone's face going in the cake. And I remember still saying, his favorite thing to say was, I don't do comedy. Remember? It was always, we don't do comedy. And you looked up and you're like, I'll do it. It's like, it was just awesome. Because you just like, I don't give a crap. Let's just go. And the fans loved it, and it was great. And you were ticked off, and it was what? It was awesome. And like, it made for a show. It made for entertainment.
And Tom, that's what it's always been for me, man. I'm an entertainer. When I step through that curtain, it's time for me to put on a show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's what it's all about. That's what I mean. I think the fact that you had such a great, and you're not the only one to do it. There's been a lot of guys before and after you who just have that natural instinct that you
Oh
had.
yeah.
Okay. But you had it, man, and you had that grasp of it. And I think it was a lot of guys, and maybe jealousy is the wrong word, but they could see that you had it and it ticked them off because they didn't quite grasp. They looked at it like, well, I have to wrestle and I have to. But you didn't look at it that way. You looked at it more like a show. You were doing that then. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I just think that people get maybe envious is the right word. They were envious of the fact that you could throw yourself into it and you didn't worry about, well, listen, how's this going to look if we do? You didn't care. It's like, let's just go. Let's just have fun. And that's all that mattered.
You know me, Tom. I'm that way about anything. I mean,
oh, yeah.
It's been you that's had to keep me grounded. Because, dude, if it was my decision, I'd set that ring up out in a field somewhere. We'd run a show.
I hear you.
Because I'm ready. I'm ready to run, brother. I'm ready.
I hear you. HVW unleaded.
Hell yeah. I'm with it.
Yeah, man.
HVW outdoors, baby.
Outdoors. It's the Outback. Scott
Dude,
says,
I'll set the chairs up 6 feet apart if they need to be.
It may come to that. If the restrictions don't get lifted soon, man, we may not be indoors for a while. Hate to say that, but yeah, God, you never know what's going to happen here. Scott says, Viper, it's not cocky if you can back it up. I saw you in all the videos of your matches. Do your thing. So there you go.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it, brother.
Jeff says Gary was willing to put his body through no matter what. I'm guessing no matter what all right, to give the fans a show.
No, he's saying I was willing to put my body through you know what.
Oh, gotcha.
Fans a show.
Gotcha. My bad.
He was trying to be nice and not say shit.
Not safe for work, people.
Yeah.
Shannon Maroon says, Killa, Cyanide, and Sin. Good days. Love you, Gary.
That was our version of EOD.
Nice. Very cool.
When I came up to Hendersonville, Sin was our manager. Me and Killer was the two wrestlers that started it off.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be something to have like a massive EOD reunion at some point? Just
man,
everybody that we could think of.
I've already told you what we need to do with it.
Yeah. That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Hey, dude, I got to ask. I want to know what's up with Chuck calling you out last night.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew. I wanted to have fun here, and you're going to make this not fun for me. Good Lord.
Well, I'm sorry. What's up with the dude, man? He's lost his mind.
I think that at this point, I don't think I have to respond to him because last night he said everything he needed to say. He did my talking for me. He exposed himself in that video last night. He did. He flat out exposed himself. At the end of the day, he doesn't care that I talk about NAV. He doesn't care I talk positively about Elijah Proctor or anybody else he manages. He doesn't care. It's all about him. I'm not talking about him, so he's got his feelings hurt. And at the end of the day, he has exposed himself. That's the problem. He makes it all about him. And meanwhile, he's got wrestlers who are waiting for him to speak up for them. And he's too busy speaking up for himself. So, I questioned on the show before, if I'm working for him, if he's my manager, I have to question who I'm associating myself with. Does he really have my best interests at heart? In my opinion, I don't think he does. That's not for me to say if they're in the wrong place or not. But, this guy has had an issue with you for years. He's had an axe to grind. He's been grinding it in silence, and he decided to let the whole world know on January 25th that Resurrected. And since then, he can't keep his mouth shut. And it's went from you to me. It'll probably come back to you at some point. I don't know. But he just wants to blame everybody but himself. And I don't have to confront the guy. Last night he did everything. He said and did everything to just flat out tell the world what the real reason for the animosity is, because no one's paying attention to him. And, when the pretty girl at the dance doesn't get danced with, she tends to get a little upset.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That's what's happening. So there you go. And I'm sure he'll rip on that too.
I'll give him something else to rip on.
Let's hear it.
This is how I avoided all this mess for so many years. I stuck a microphone in his hand so I could control it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Then I didn't have to deal with none of I am righteous bull crap.
Yeah. And
I go out and announce the matches and bring you back to the locker room. That's it.
That makes sense. And I guess it fed his ego for a while, right?
Yeah, we had to stroke it for a little bit.
And you know what kills me is he was part of the company. He was a valuable part of the company. And as we've said before, when you and I had our first phone call in September of 2019, the second phone call was to him, and he did not answer his phone, okay? And he never did. Dude, we had plans of hooking up, going to his house, talking over some things, maybe going to look at some venues. He never answered the phone, okay?
No, dude, I was – in my opinion, he was going to be a part of the team.
Absolutely.
Me, you, and him.
Absolutely. Then he shows up January 25th with the hat and the coat, and he's like mad. He's so mad. The dude is so mad. That's what I can't get. He's yelling at the mic. He's just yelling at me for the whole world to hear because, again, no one will dance with him.
Bought a ticket to come in the show that night?
Bought a ticket. Yeah, that's what we were told. He bought a ticket. So,
yeah.
I mean, hey, you got his money. So, I mean, there's that. Hopefully he didn't rob some little old lady to get the money on the way into the show that night. Who knows? So, here we go. I Am Righteous hasn't exposed anything other than pervasive bias inherent in fake news media. Well, Nate does have an alter ego in our company, and it is Logan Lockhart, and that alter ego is not my biggest fan. So he and Righteous are pretty tight, if you know what I mean. So.
Yeah, evidently there's an interview that them two did that I didn't even know about.
The first I heard of it was last night. All right, so if I can rewind for a second, I invited him on Tom Clark's main event. He never responded. Scott Larson invited us because I told him, I said, I'll debate you anytime, anywhere. So Scott Larson invites me to hashtag truth and him. I said, I'm there, done. I was there. Your boy didn't show up. Okay.
I remember that. I remember.
Yeah. So, and then now since then, he's talking about, I'm not addressing him. I'm not talking about it. Dude, you had a chance to talk to me. I even invited him on the HVW podcast. He never answered. He refused to do it. So I'm like, you know what? Whatever. It's much ado about nothing. He's just, and as I said to you before, Gary, let's say that every single post on our page was about him. We put all his pictures up, all his silly little logos with the eye and all that crap he does, whatever nonsense. Let's say everything we talked about was for him. He would still have a problem. He would say we weren't talking loud enough. There's not enough pictures of him. Come on. You can't win.
All right. So let's get back to the fun.
Thank you.
Chuck, you've got all you're going to get tonight. See you.
Right. And he didn't show up, so which tells me he must not be too interested in it. So, but going back to the retro thing, if we can, I love watching that stuff. And we've got a good one on deck coming up this next Monday as well. You guys will enjoy that for sure. Yeah, man, to see it, and I'm with you. The nostalgia of that old building and seeing your guys and that crew and that roster, it's great stuff. But man, comparing that to what we have now in terms of production, and dude, you've been the one-man army when it comes to that production stuff, man. You had a vision for it. You brought that thing to life. It's impeccable. Talk about the stage, man. I know we've talked about it before, but for people who might be watching or listening later who maybe don't know much about it, tell them about it.
Well, for years I would build a stage or a set, and it stayed wherever I built it. I didn't really think about having to move this thing when I built it.
Right.
So that's a little bit of a challenge. I need to work on it a little bit, make it a little more travel friendly. But thank goodness, Pastor Stacy and Adam at Trinity of Fairview allows us to store it there, so we don't have to haul it back and forth.
Well, we've got the. I can't believe I've forgotten this. It's how big of an inch TV is it again?
An 86-inch.
86. That's right. So the biggest one I have yet to see in a store is 70 something. I forget how big it was. And I stopped and I was like, no, it's still not big enough. Like, I still have never seen a TV this big. Had you seen one that big in a retail store before?
Oh, dude, I had never seen one that big.
Nah, neither have I. It's crazy.
Yeah, like a 76 or something is the biggest I'd ever seen.
Yeah. 86, my God. I mean, it's a Titantron. It's if Vince's budget wasn't that big, that's his Titantron. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's pretty freaking good, man. So yeah, there you go.
Hey, dude, I'm telling you, I was this close during this whole thing to open up a redneck drive-in. I'm gonna go get that TV and hook a DVD player to it and sell spots out in my front yard so people can park and watch a movie.
Man, I love the idea of a drive-in. There is one, I can't remember the name of the town. It's near Charlotte. I can't remember the name I won't remember it now. Me and my wife went there for our anniversary one year because we wanted to do something different. And we had dinner at a restaurant down there, and then we found this drive-in that played a double feature.
You had to be in either Bessemer City or Shelby because that's the only two in North Carolina.
Bessemer City sounds right, but I cannot swear to it. You can actually get pizza delivered to your car, like Domino's will deliver there. I think it is.
Really?
I think so. Yeah. Isn't that weird? But they put the sound in. You turn your radio to a radio station, and that's the sound for the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it's awesome. And
I love the drive-in, man. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I do too. I had memories of going as a kid, but this was cool. The only drawback, I had the worst headache on the planet. So I enjoyed it, but I didn't because I was in so much pain. I'm like, this sucks. This is not fair. Like, why can't I just not have a headache right now? It sucks, man. But yeah, that's a great idea, man. And like drive-in wrestling might become a thing. I mean,
dude, a lot of the bands are doing drive-in tours now. Like there's a Christian band, Casting Crowns. They're doing a whole tour of drive-in theaters,
right?
Because you stay in your car.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's yeah. It is the Thunderbird Drive-In not in Hickory anymore?
It's been a flea market for years.
Well, it was a flea market, and then at night they played movies.
I didn't know they did that. I had no idea they did that at night.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you'd be walking around in the flea market and all them little poles sticking up with the speakers on it.
Yeah, I just assumed that they were no longer using the screen.
No, because it was a flea market by day, a theater at night. And
wow.
on Saturday nights after midnight, they would play porn.
Isn't it funny how they all did that in the end? Like
from midnight to 2 a.m., they would play porn.
That's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
So Aaron Jones says HVW does have a great setup. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
Let's see. Nathan hit us with something. Talking about the drive-ins, Nathan said, you were probably at Sunset in Shelby. That sounds familiar. They do the radio station for the audio. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah. So we've got let's see. No movie. I don't know what we're talking about here. Whoever that person is. Wendy Seals. You're getting unexpected shout out on the HVW podcast. There you go.
Who was it?
Wendy Seals. There you go. So does anyone else have it? If I can rant for just a second, because I'm prone to rants, as you know. Does it bother anyone else out there when you see someone with a Facebook pic and it's them and their significant other? Does that stick in anybody's craw except me? Because I personally cannot stand that. You know what I think? If you want a Facebook, get your own freaking Facebook. Why does it have to be, hey, look, here's me and look, here we are. We love each other. Come on. I'm sorry. Why does that bother me so much, man? I can't help it. It's like, look, we're going to hug up for it. Look, honey, let's take our Facebook picture. Shut up. My God. Can't you have anything on your own, for crying out loud, man? That's like there's people that shop together and there's like, sir, can I help you? I have to ask the boss, honey, come here, will you? And it's like, oh, you can't just buy the steak on your own. Do you got to get her permission? All right, go do that. That's fine.
Dude, I see that every day at my job. So
isn't that crazy? God bless. But I digress. It's not even talking about wrestling at this point. Hey, we got to give this guy a shout out, man. Hillbilly Blacksmith is a part of the HVW fandom here, man. He's always watching, always commenting. So shout out to him right now.
Hey, man, I'm actually meeting with him and a couple of the other front row guys.
Yeah.
Saturday afternoon about them starting another chapter of the Sons of the Savior motorcycle ministry.
Awesome. Yeah. Shout out to that group right now for sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, like we said before when we started here tonight, man, I miss the shows. I miss being there. We definitely have to do a UWA podcast, man. Roger's on Facebook. I've reached out to him before about coming on the main event. He didn't want to do it. He flat out said he didn't want to do it. I'm like, why? I said, we can just talk old wrestling because, he's a walking encyclopedia, man.
Oh, I know.
Dude, he knows those old matches before Crockett. He knows that stuff. And I'm like, how do you know that?
Dude, we need to talk to Roger and Rodney Hildebrand and Steele and Thomas Extreme, anybody that was involved, and see if we couldn't just do like a big podcast one day with everybody on. That'd be cool. That would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I wasn't there for the majority of it. I'm being straight with you. I mean, you know that. I was there for the last couple of years that the company was around. I think it was. You were there a lot longer than I was at that point. But
I left before you did.
No, you did. You went on to bigger and better things for sure. For you personally, anyway. So, but yeah, man, we had a lot of fun. We were talking about EOD before on the show, and this thing got, I forget how many guys that we got in that group.
Oh, dude, we ended up like the Wolf Pack. Dude, we should have had the red and the black.
I know, right?
Yeah, dude, when Bischoff first did the invasion thing with the outsiders, that stuff was classic.
Yeah.
But before you knew it, everybody on the WCW roster was NWO.
They were, yeah.
No, it killed it.
Yeah, it did.
We did the same thing with EOD.
We did.
3/4 of the UWA locker room was EOD.
It's true. And if they weren't, they wanted to join.
Yeah. And hell, we was having to wrestle each other.
Yeah. We didn't have to recruit. We didn't have to recruit anybody.
No, sir.
I remember
going, brother.
And the guys that weren't with us would get mad when there was me and Dark Lord and maybe you at ringside for another one of our guys' matches. And it's like, why is there always so many of you coming to the ring? And we're like, yeah, but you're winning the match. That kind of, you see what I'm saying? Like we were doing our part as the heavies of the match, right? We were doing our part as the dastardly villains, but you're winning. So what do you care if we're out here? You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff always bothered me. Like, I don't know. It's like you said before, it's just the show. Why are you getting upset over it? It makes no sense. But
after all these years of being in the business, I kind of would agree with that now because, if I'm a babyface wrestling a heel that's got 4 guys at ringside with him, why in the world would I ever win a match?
Because you're just that good. Telling you. Uber talented, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, man. Well, no, I see your point. But to counter your point, we were having too much fun to care about it at the time.
Oh, absolutely, brother. Back then it was. That's a fact.
Yeah, we were having too much fun to care about it. And, I'm sitting here reminiscing about stuff, about things that we did during the course of the run there. God, there was the night that you actually, and believe it or not, fans, this happened. The night that you actually turned on the EOD. And, dude, that was big. And I remember telling you, and, man, we're really going behind the curtain tonight, folks, but this is not a quote-unquote official, thing. So we're kind of more off the cuff here, so bear with us. But I remember telling you before everything went down, I'm like, I said, I'm pumped up for you. And I remember you looked at me, not like a jerk, but you looked at me and went like, why? Like you couldn't understand it. But I was already in my head beginning to see bigger picture stuff. And that's how I ended up writing, being a part of the creative process, I guess you could say, down the road with that company. But I was excited for you because I knew the reaction you were going to get was going to be huge. And man, it definitely was. And it was, I had chill bumps the whole time that was happening that night. That was some cool stuff, man.
That was a great night. I remember that night too, man.
How messed up was that for you though? Did you have any second thoughts at the last second where you're like, man, I don't know if I want to do this?
Well, I mean, that was my first run at being a babyface.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of excited about it because I wanted to give that. I was a great heel.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Am I going to be able to get over? Am I going to be able to pop the crowd like I did as a heel?
Yeah, no doubt.
And, I turned out being a better babyface than I was a heel.
Yeah, for sure. You couldn't stay heel for long. Not the way your character is. There's just some guys that you can try, but at the end of the day, people just like them too much, and that's what was happening with you. They liked you too much, man.
Tom, I never really. I've said this many times. I never really had a character. Viper was just Gary amped up a little bit.
Yeah, you were definitely just yourself with the volume turned up for sure.
Exactly.
Like you turn the camera off and you're basically just still the same guy.
Yeah, just calm down a little bit.
And man, we had the most fun. We had a lot of fun before the show started too, just hanging out.
Dude, I'd be at the Legion Hall every Saturday by 12:30.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'd set the ring up by myself. Me and Thomas Extreme would set the ring up just so I could get there and work out.
I remember because we changed our music all the time. It was something we did because we wanted to keep the fans guessing. But that backfired because eventually when they heard some kind of random metal song they'd never heard before, they were like, well, this must be EOD because we've never heard the song before. So it kind of backfired toward the end, right?
Yeah.
But we always changed it. And
what was the music we had where it would say, look out, punk, here comes the EOD.
So yes.
I love that one.
Was that good or what?
Yes.
So that was me on The Voice. Did you know this?
Yeah, I thought that was you.
That was me, baby. I'd put my voice on a, not even a laptop. It was a desktop PC. And I put an enhancement on it, modulated it, and deepened it and darkened it. And it was all like staticky and crap, but it got the point across. But I can't remember what song we attached it to. It was something I had not heard before.
No, it was like a hip hop version of Iron Man by Black Sabbath.
So that was Busta Rhymes. That was Busta Rhymes with Ozzy on that song.
Yeah, that was the song.
That was the song.
Look out, punk! Here comes the EOD.
See, go ahead.
Then it would kick into that song.
I thought maybe you're right. I thought we'd put that soundbite on top of this song that we had found on the Blair Witch Project soundtrack. It was this real dark gothic. There wasn't even any words. It was like chanting and stuff, but it was real dark and moody and gothic. And I'll find it. I'll find it and send it to you. But I swear I thought this was
got a CD in my gear bag that's got.
Do you still have it?
A bunch of my old wrestling entrance.
Oh, it's awesome.
I'll have to see if that one's on there.
That's cool. Yeah. But I remember one Saturday we were going over some music and you had brought something in, and dude, it was one of those death metal where the dude, it's like, and the guy's just going, oh, and you can't understand a word, right?
Oh,
and dude, you had the long hair and the bandana and the glasses, and you were just head banging and doing this, and that thing was turned wide open, and we're just standing there going, God bless, like doing that, a bunch of us. And you're like, man, what's right? Like you were getting irritated, like, we can't use this. And we're like, dude, we can't understand what the guy's saying. It's like, that's not the point, man. It's awesome. Like that was fun. Yeah. I don't even remember if I think we used it that night, but I don't know if we use it again. But yeah, that was cool. That was funny. Just to see how pumped up you were about using that song. That was cool.
Yeah, dude, we had a lot of fun back then.
Yes, sir.
We kind of away from HVW, but that's all right.
No, it's fine. Yeah, man. We're calling it HVW Paul, but it's all good. So the
That's
Eye
right.
of Tiger is here, my friends.
Yes, he is. What's up, Eye of the Tiger?
John, dude, I love your profile pic, man. If I've never told you, I dig that, man. That looks good. That makes a statement right there. That's pretty sweet.
I'm proud of that kid, man. He's working hard.
Let's see. Oh, there we go. Nate says some people have protein powder and towels in their gym bags. Some people have entrance music. Oh man, we had to carry CDs everywhere we went, dude. Remember that?
Shoot, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I had a cassette tape.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I was waiting for it, man. I had a 45. I had a 45, had my song on there, popping the record player.
Dude, I had a laser disc.
There you go. Yep. That's good stuff.
You remember those?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I never had a laser disc. Did you have a laser disc player?
Yeah.
I never had one, man. It was like big gold records, like huge.
It was a DVD, but they were the size of a 45 album.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
Enormous.
Yeah. And yeah, I remember those things. I never, of course, the first VCR that me and my mom had bought, actually, the first VCR was like $500.
Oh yeah, I remember when my dad bought one.
And now you get one for like $20 at a yard sale, and I'm like, oh my god, you know what I mean?
I have a VCR DVD combo.
You still have that thing?
Yes, sir. I still got it.
The only reason I never invested in one, I wanted one for the longest time, but I started reading reviews of them where people were complaining, saying that they're great when they work, but if one side craps out, you're stuck with it. So you better hope you only like the other side, because you'll end up having to buy a whole new one. And I'm like, I never thought about that. I didn't know that one side could crap out before the other one, but apparently that's what was happening to some of those models. So not only are you getting pro wrestling here today, folks, you're also getting some tech info as well.
And look, we're just having a conversation. That's all.
Absolutely, man.
Long time.
Absolutely. Time to let the hair down, that kind of thing. So, here we go, John. Yeah, that was not a crack, by the way. Yeah, I see you. John says, I'm geared up and ready for HVW to return. Come and make a statement. I've been putting in the work. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, and I'm here to back that up. That kid has been putting in the work. I'm proud of him.
Gary's did say you haven't been hitting the ropes hard enough, though, John. You might want to work on that. And he said you need to work on your speed and your timing. And once you bring some more heart when you get in the ring, man, what's wrong with you? He said all that stuff. I promise you he did. He didn't say any of that stuff. I'm just
Obviously, they can't hear me.
Huh? Oh, okay. There you go. Let's see. Jeff says, remember the stacks of CDs we had at HVW for everyone.
Oh, yeah. It was, dude. I had a stack of CDs. Looked like it was a foot tall that sat on my desk. People would forget to get their entrance music when they would leave on Saturday, and I'd get stuck with everybody's CDs.
I know in UWA, we eventually made one CD with everybody's songs on it because we got tired of they'd show up and say, hey, I forgot. Do you happen? And like I'd happen to have the disc in my truck or something. Be like, oh, I actually have that song. And I'd go get it. It's amazing how easy it is now, man. It's so easy now with music, especially. And with videos. Like we first started talking about putting this thing together and back together, I should say. And, you know, we're talking about the video presentation and all this stuff. And even in my head at that time, I couldn't put it together in terms of what exactly we were talking about. But then we started seeing that stuff come together. I'm like, dude, this is going to look legit, man. This is going to be fun. And then seeing it on that big 86-inch TV for the first time that Saturday.
That was crazy, wasn't it?
I was popping for that, dude. I couldn't help it. I was dancing along to Say Lee's music. That was fun. So,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, we can't get out. We've been here almost an hour. We can't get out of here without talking some about HVW. Folks, we still have yet to give you anything substantial, anything set in stone. I will tell you that we are that close to sitting down and planning the events. We've already got the bare bones of the things laid out. We've had them laid out for months. People have been asking me who's going to be involved in the HVW Championship event. Can't tell you that yet. A lot of stuff we can't tell you yet. We'll be releasing details as we can. We have been having conversations about possible opportunities behind the scenes in terms of funding, if I can be so brave to say. We won't mention any names or anything like that. But, you know, there's some things in the works to help HVW get to the next level. So that's a very good thing. So everybody stay tuned for that. Everybody, please stay tuned to HVW social media. I would appreciate it. We put stuff up all the time. We need to show Twitter a little bit more love as we do Instagram. Facebook gets the majority of our focus because that's where the majority of our audience actually visits our content.
I'm gonna step away. I'll be right back. Then we're gonna give everybody a little teaser.
Go right ahead, brother. John, what's up, man? He says, are y'all going to start doing interviews this way? I'm thinking about it, man. What's your take on that? I don't want to rip off Scott Larson, man. I know this is how he does the hashtag truth. I don't want to rip him off or anything, dude. So what's your thoughts on that, John? You think that'd be a cool gig, man? Because I haven't talked to Gary about it, but a lot of times when I've been doing the HVW pod, it's been easier for the guys and gals to not be on camera because they might be just getting off work or they might be driving. They might be sitting in their car somewhere. I think we did Mitch Hurley's interview in his car because first he hit the video button. I'm like, dude, it's all audio. You don't have to be on camera, man. It's all good. The one between Terry Hudson and myself was on video, but we did it on Skype and just recorded the audio, not the video part of it. So it was kind of cool. It was different to do a podcast where you could actually look at the person and get their responses and see their reactions and things like that. So it's a thought, man. We might actually do that. I think the boss is back, folks. He has returned.
All right, Tom. You're going to kill me for this, but I got to.
Don't let the cat out of the bag too much. What you going to show me? HVW Unscripted.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tom and I and Nathan and a couple others have worked very hard on building a ladies division in HVW.
Oh, is this the big reveal? Shut up. Here we go, folks.
I can't wait to see who's going to win this bad boy.
There it is, the HVW Women's Championship.
The HVW Ladies title.
That's good stuff, man.
I can't wait to see somebody put that around their waist.
Well, now that you've revealed it, I can actually start putting the picture of that thing up on Facebook. That'll be fun.
And who? Will it be 1776?
Oh.
Will it be the NAV?
Are we doing this too? We are?
Who's going to win these bad boys? Who's going to win these bad boys right here? Huh?
HVW Tag Team Championships. Very cool.
We did something for HVW, Tom.
Yes, we did. So I saw these things back when you first got them, and I had to keep them off social media, but I don't have to now, so that's pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
So you got to give me some high-resolution pics of those things, and I'll start posting them. Awesome. Nathan says, oh, this is good. He says, well, who's going to keep it warm for Hayden? So he's already oh, that's nice. So whoever wins it, Nathan believes Hayden's going to end up with the title anyway. That's an interesting point, man.
I think Caitlin Marie is going to keep it warm.
Caitlin Marie is suddenly Caitlin doesn't like me either. I make enemies everywhere I go, and I don't even mean to.
Although I don't know. I've never done nothing to the lady, and she done got me too. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I have such a lovable face. I don't know what's happening.
Everybody's favorite mom's going to take them all out, though.
I tell you what, if you step to Sadie Lee Moss, you better be ready for a fight. And I'll tell you a one-on-one match we've not seen. Yeah, I'll tell you one-on-one match we haven't seen, HVW. I'd like to see Caitlin versus Sadie one-on-one. I'm serious.
Caitlin Marie versus Sadie Lee Moss one-on-one.
I'm just saying.
Hey, who knows?
I mean, Sadie wouldn't back down from that. You know she wouldn't.
Sadie will take it to her. I promise you that.
Yeah, she would. Had that match with Hayden gone a little bit differently, Sadie might – I don't know if anybody would have got the pin that night because they were so fierce at each other. But either one of those ladies could have won that match, dude, for sure. So, I firmly believe that Sadie Lee versus Caitlin Marie would be a heck of a match, man. I'd be down for that.
Oh, yeah.
Caitlin's a dangerous individual, though, for sure. She definitely is.
Yes, sir. I agree. And I think she's definitely going to be a force to reckon with in the ladies division. Yeah,
I mean, she's proven she'll do anything it takes to get to the top. So, but you know, it's like they say, man, this isn't ballet; it's pro wrestling. So, you don't get in this thing because you think it's it's going to be easy on the body or it's going to be all fun and games, man. You know, it's going to be a hard road to hoe, and the ladies know that too for sure. So
yes, sir.
So, folks, we've been going about an hour here, a little over an hour. This thing will get a lot more views and hits as time goes on. We went fairly late in the night here, but it's all good. As we said before, we hadn't done like an official episode of the podcast in a hot minute, so we wanted to go ahead and take care of this and knock one out tonight while we could. We want to thank everybody for watching. Certain people are choosing to show up right now. I will not put his name on the screen because I don't have to. And I don't even care what he thinks about that.
I can only imagine.
Oh, yeah. I don't even care what he thinks about that. You have your own page, pal. Go wreak havoc on it and scream at the camera some more.
Alive out the back of his head.
Yeah. Well, and go scream at the camera while you're at it too. Maybe that's what's happening. It's painful for him and it's like pulling on his scalp or something. Maybe that's what's happening. So never know. All right, folks, we're going to get out of here, I do believe. Again, thanks everybody for watching tonight. I promise you this will not be the last time we do this. Gary, if you're down, we'll do this again soon.
Yes, sir. We need to. Hopefully we can have some announcements or at least a time frame or something.
Yeah, something would be nice. And folks, before we sign off here today, if any of you are following the pro wrestling business on social media, you know that quite a lot of wrestlers are getting into quite a lot of trouble. I cannot sit here and tell you for sure that all accusations are true. I can tell you for sure that a lot of accusations are true. When you've got one wrestler with 17 different women coming against him, that dude's been up to no good. So here, I tell you all that to tell you this. Please don't let this hinder your love of the business. Not everybody in pro wrestling is a bad guy. Not everybody in pro wrestling is out for themselves or is out to make someone else feel uncomfortable or out to make this about more than wrestling. A lot of us are good people who just want to have fun and want to bring you some good pro wrestling content. And please enjoy the shows for what they are. And let's all try to have fun every time we watch wrestling and every time we get to go back to see live wrestling, which hopefully is very soon. Gary, you want to leave the crowd with anybody or with anything here tonight before we sign off?
Man, I just want to say thank you guys for, supporting us, standing by us even through this COVID-19 and all of this pandemic stuff. I don't know that life as we knew it will ever be back to normal, but eventually there'll be a day where we get to run a show again. And we can't do it without you guys. And thank you for supporting us and being there to cheer us on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, I guess that's all we got, man. Please remember to keep checking us out on Facebook. We're also on Twitter and Instagram, and we do have a Twitch channel. We just have never done anything with it. We've got plans for that in the future. So please check us out there. Support us on social media. Follow, subscribe. Everything's free. The official High Velocity Wrestling podcast, as you know, is free of charge all the time. Subscribe on Apple. Google Play. And it used to be called iTunes. Now they're calling it something like Apple Podcasts. That's it. Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. And it's also on, it's not on Spotify. It's on iHeartRadio. So there you go. We're going to try to get on all the platforms before too long. So that way you can find it everywhere you want to. So that's it, folks. For Gary Benfield, I am Tom Clark. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you guys around. Please stay tuned.